All right, you're looking live at Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, DJ I Tell You What, and I have my co-host, my dad, here with me, Cowboy Joe, 64, aka Capricorn One.
I am your father. Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
And we're back to rule the Cowboys Galaxy as father and son. And so, you want to say what's up to the people?
What's up, people? Welcome back.
Yeah. So today, I kind of wanted to touch a few things. I kind of had an epiphany the last couple of days, and think that I kind of made figured out a way to make some sense out of what's actually been going on with the Cowboys, and also got a few things we can talk about as far as how to get better going into this Atlanta game. But for me, I'm gonna just come right out and just say what I think happened. So, and I have been theorizing this to some degree, and I kind of feel like I kind of ironed it out. So it's really not that we are tanking. What I think happened was, and we're not playing good, obviously. And it's such a drastic drop from last year because we were a good team last year. I mean, it's not, we're not being homers or anything. We were a good team last year, okay? Um, but what ended up happening is, I think what ended up happening was, we didn't get as far as we wanted to go, being eliminated in the first round. And so I think that Jerry came up with a 2 or 3 year plan. And really it's like a 4 year plan. And it's some more YouTubers out there that kind of said the same thing today, ironically, right when I was thinking about it yesterday. So I think that Jerry came up with like a 2 or 3 year plan, right? And that's why you see Dak signed to a 3 or 4 year deal, and that's why you see CD signed for a 3 or 4 year deal. And you see they're saying that. And then this fits into the theory. So with the salary cap, so we have around $25 million in cap. So I think that what Jerry said was, this year right here, we're not gonna spend any money in free agency. We're not gonna spend any money re-signing veterans that are going to demand a big contract, and everyone is going to be pretty much on 1 year deals. And what that does is it allows you to eat most of the void years on the contracts for players like Zach Martin, players like Brandon Cooks, players that are not going to be here next year. Zach Martin, Brandon Cooks, Tank, those type of players that are not going to be here next year. If you don't re-sign them and you don't add to your team, you don't add anything to the cap by signing anyone, then you're not kicking the can anymore. You're not kicking the can or borrowing from the credit card anymore. What you're doing is you're eating that this year and next year. You're just eating that. And so, and also, with Mike McCarthy, he told Mike McCarthy, we're not doing anything in free agency. We're not doing anything in the trade deadline. We're not doing any of that. So if what you're going to have is, they went out and they signed players that they know are going to be here for at least 4 years. Dak, CD, and also next year with the new head coaching regime and whoever that is, they're going to have at least a lot of draft picks with the comp picks that we got, probably a high draft picks after we have really not done a good job this year. And then they're going to have a fresh start, and they're also going to have more cap space than they would if we would have went out and traded for players, or we would have went out and re-signed Tony Pollard or re-signed Zach Martin or Tyron Smith, or if we would have re-signed any of those players, then it wouldn't work in the next few years. So it's kind of like a rebuild, but Jerry didn't expect for us to be this bad. And also, he didn't expect for Deron Bland, Micah, Tank, Kalen Carson, Um, your whole Trayvon Diggs coming back from an injury. He didn't expect all of those starters to be out. Brandon Cooks, we knew he wasn't going to sign Gilmore because again, that goes to the theory of signing older players and putting them on contracts when you're kicking the can down the road. So, this has been like a 2-year plan. So they plan to go forward and really win something. I would say next year and the year after that, maybe the year after next year, but next year and the year after that for sure. And that's what I think happened. And they just got hurt at the beginning of the season, and they didn't expect for Sam Williams, Tank, Micah, Kayla Carson, all of these players to not be available. And then also you have the players that are playing. They're very young, they're inexperienced, but you also have players that are starters that are just not doing a good job. You have like you have like who's not doing a good job. You have Malik Hooker, and you have
Terrence Steele.
Terrence Steele, Malik Hooker. You have Wilson.
Dono not playing too good because you got him playing the wrong position.
Dono not playing good. You got him playing the wrong position. And Trayvon is banged up. He's hurt. You don't have any defensive tackles. You just don't have them. And then you went and got Linval Joseph. That didn't do anything. And then you got Mozzie. He's 119 of 119. So
Linval Joseph is banged up now.
Yeah, so he's banged up. So they didn't expect none of that. They didn't expect Mozzie to regress. They didn't expect. Now you got Leofow, Kendricks, who they spent a little bit of money on, and you got Overshawn. They can't even play good right now because of the defensive tackle situation. So they did not expect for their defense to be that bad. And then with the offense, they also didn't expect the offense to be that bad, just like we didn't. Now, we kind of knew, everyone that's a real Cowboy fan that knows anything about football knew when they didn't do free agency this year in the offseason, when they didn't re-sign their players, that we were going to be bad. We knew that. And we also knew that when they drafted the way that they drafted, it was obvious that they drafted for years in advance. They didn't draft for right now. We knew that. We knew that. If they were drafting for right now, they would have took a running back and a wide receiver. I mean, we knew that. We know that. So when they took a lineman that's a project that you're going to have to work on, and it's 50-50 if he's going to start or not, we knew that they were drafting for the future by taking Tyler Guyton and Cooper BB. And we knew that. You know what I'm saying? So, but we didn't expect for it to be this bad. And it is this bad, and it happened. And so now what you have is you have Jerry and Steven. They have to explain themselves without exposing their plan. They have to say these generic things. And of course it doesn't make sense. The only thing that would make sense is if they're doing what I would say, what I just said. That's the only thing that makes sense, is if you're saving money to start off. Now the argument is you could do that same thing without saving money the way that they're going about doing it. You could have still did what they're trying to do, but that's just the way that they went about doing it. And they didn't expect for these injuries to pile on and for everyone to be this bad. They didn't expect for Mike McCarthy to have a regression year. And Mike McCarthy don't care because he know this is last year. So if anything, he's auditioning for. Now, one thing about Mike McCarthy, I give him credit for it. He got the blame game down pretty good. He knows how to evade responsibility. Because when he interviews for another job next year, he's just going to tell the interviewer that the Jones handicapped him with Kellen Moore, and they handicapped him with Dan Quinn, and they handicapped him by not using free agency. And whoever they're interviewing him, they're going to agree, because that obviously is true. You did handicap this man by not giving him any weapons in free agency. You did. So, I mean, he's going to get away scot-free. It's not a big deal to him. He's not a cowboy at heart. He doesn't bleed blue like that. It's not a big deal to him. And um, he's gonna get paid and he's gonna move on. So it's that's just it. And then Dak and CD are gonna be here. And then they're gonna get a new scheme, a new coach. They're gonna get some new players with the draft. They're probably gonna spend a little bit in free agency. But if they don't, they still got a lot of comp picks, a lot of draft picks. And if they don't spend a free agency next year, that just means that they're just doing the same thing they did this year. They're just eating all of the bad contracts, like Gallup, like Tyron Smith, like Zach Martin, like Brandon Cooks. Like, for instance, how Zeke is still being paid this year and was paid last year when he was not here. So, that's the reason why they brought Zeke back, is because they're still paying him. And so they really don't have to do anything besides sign him, bring him back. You get a fan favorite back. But that really wasn't to win now. That wasn't a win now thing. That was just it's cute. And we, if we would have drafted a running back, they still would have brought Zeke back. So it wasn't, Zeke was not brought back because of his athleticism. He wasn't brought back because he can help us win. Now, when you ask Jerry, can he help us win? Jerry is supposed to say yes. He's supposed to. So, I mean, it is what it is. As Cowboy fans, we don't want to sit up here. We don't want to say that that this is by design, but the way things are is by design. We don't want to face the fact that we're probably not going anywhere this year. This is just a wasted year. But that's literally probably what's happening due to the circumstances, and it's a year because in the Joneses' mind, they're doing that this year because they're gonna do the opposite next year and the year after that. They plan on being good for the next 4 or 5 years by doing what they're doing now, which I don't know if it's gonna happen that way because historically they don't spend in free agency, and they're not aggressive in free agency. They don't draft well. So if what they're doing will work if next year you spend in free agency and you draft well, but if you don't, then it's just we just did it for nothing. So I think that's what they're doing because nothing else makes sense. But they did not expect for all of these injuries to happen and for the aggression of the offense to happen. I mean, it's really just crazy when you say it out loud. We're missing Sam Williams, Marshawn Nealon, Kalen Carson, Deron Bland. These are all starters, and these are not just, some of these starters are like top of their position. Micah Parsons, he's like the top of his position. Deron Bland, he broke the record for pick sixes. So, Trayvon coming back off an injury. Sam Williams was due for a breakout year. Tank Lawrence is the soul and heart of this team and this defense. And so, you playing with third and fourth round draft picks right now. So you can't expect them to just be good. And with Dak, the offensive line is definitely worse than it was last year. And the play calling is definitely worse. And the one thing that you had was CD. And once teams know that that's all you got and you have no running game, they're going to double and triple CD. Even when it looks like they're not, they are. Everyone knows who's getting the ball. He's the only person that could hurt you. So when you combine those things, this is what you get. I mean, if we were Philadelphia, we would know how to beat them, right? I mean, if we were Philadelphia and we were playing them, we would know exactly what to do to stop them. They only have one weapon. His name is AJ Brown. I mean, what? We know what they're gonna do on offense. We know that their defensive line is depleted. We know that their safeties are having bad play. Both of their starting corners are out. Kalen Carson and Deron Bland is out. So we know what to do. I mean, it's not rocket science. So can we win? What makes it sour for me is that with a little bit of tweaking here and there, you could win some of these close games because it's so obvious what you're not doing. You're not doing, it's like you said on the last show, McCarthy's not doing all that he can to help this team win. You're not playing the players that you should be playing to help these teams win. But at the same time, like you always say, sometimes it's your time. It's your year, it's your year. It's like we crying for Flournoy to get the ball. He get the ball, he fumble first time. We crying for Turpin to get the ball downfield because we feel like he's our take the top off the defense guy. Dak go to him in crunch time and he dropped the ball. It's a hard pass. It's a hard pass to catch, but if that was someone like Stephon Diggs or something, they probably would have caught that. So it is what it is. It's not like but that's what I'm saying. To go forward, it's a few things that McCarthy can do to help us win. Using motion, calling better plays, getting Dak and CD in a rhythm, using Ferguson like he did last year, not using Ferguson on these out routes and these comeback routes. Ferguson was a downfield threat. He was the one that was taking the top off the defense. They have not done that at all this year. So, he should have been using John Stevens when he was here. He didn't do that. You're supposed to be using Hunter Lupke. He ain't doing that. So it's a lot of things that Mike McCarthy could do. And then also, did you hear Mike McCarthy interview today?
I didn't. I heard some people discussing it.
Yeah, because he pretty much said that he didn't have no say-so in running back by committee, and that wasn't his choice.
Well, was he talking about like before the season started when they just put the team together? Or is he talking about who's playing during the games?
A little bit of both, because of course they was asking him about Rico and why Rico wasn't playing, and the question was, who do you like in the running back by committee approach, and who should be getting more of the snaps and woo. And he basically said, well, you really want one running back to get the majority of the snaps throughout the whole thing, so they can be in a rhythm. But running back by committee is not my preferred method. And so everyone just took that and ran with it in Cowboys Nation, saying, okay, well, Mike McCarthy. And then they asked him about, what did they ask him? They asked him about something.
What? So while you're thinking about that, I think more or less, to me, when I did hear that, to me, what he was saying was he's just kind of playing with the cards he's been dealt. I don't think he's saying that he's been told to use running back by committee. I think he's just saying that this is what he has to work with. He don't have a star running back. So he's just trying to make it work.
Right. I mean, that's what I was saying that he was saying.
Yeah. So
but what that's saying in Cowboy Nation, what that's letting us know is that he didn't have no say so on them not getting the running back.
Well, he definitely didn't. But what he does have a say so on is what kind of plays they're running and who is running those plays. That 3rd and 5 to Hunter Lupke, that was him. Mm-hmm. He decided to run that play with Lupke. That was just everybody that's watched the game, does legacy media, new media, content creators. I mean, if you got 20 out of 20 people saying that was a ridiculously bad play,
oh yeah, man.
If it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck is a duck. That's something that he decided to do. So, I mean, what he's not taking accountability for is, it's a Spider-Man meme. Again, it's like he has a lot of say-so in what's happening in these games, and he's not doing a good job. I mean, he had say-so on the special teams. The special teams plays that would happen the other night. That's on him. He can tell the coach, we're not doing a reverse anymore. We're not doing
whatever this is you're doing. We're not blocking the punt. We not.
Yeah, so the part that he is kind of losing fans on is just his lack of accountability. I don't think that the front office is telling him to play Jalen Brooks. And when it's 4th and 10, you're playing the 49ers, and you call a play, you're throwing the ball to Jalen Brooks on 4th and 10. That's McCarthy.
Yeah, that's McCarthy. And that's why it's not no such thing as losing fans. He has lost the fans. Nobody wants him here. And
Yeah,
then
and
so
so what we talking about, like for the game coming up Sunday, which we need to look at, is Brad Sham said this is a way to win all of these games.
it is
So what
definitely.
what he needs to start doing is just coming up with better schemes, whether it's motion, whatever the case may be. He got to put the work in and just go to his inner Andy Reid and come up with something, because what he's doing, the problems that we have with the roster, I mean, they are profound. I mean, you talked about it. I mean, that right there, it is what it is. But as a coach, it's some things that him and Bones Fossil can do to help. Just like Mike Zimmer, that was just mind-boggling to have an entire first half with Dono covering Kittle. Then you come out and start the third quarter, you're doing the same thing. That's just mind-boggling.
You
So
wait to the very end to pull him. That was crazy.
yeah, and the thing about Dono is, I like Dono. You ain't got to pull him. You just play him in a different role, and
He should be
it's
he should be closer to the line of scrimmage.
yeah. And what that means is that he's not going to play as much as he's playing, but he's going to play. And then, like for example, Sunday, Boss Cowboy, shout out to Boss. He posted something about 30 minutes ago. He said that when the game starts Sunday, if Wanye is not playing right off the bat, he said he's going to start working on the draft. And
Yeah,
so
man.
my
Yeah,
my
just
my response was, on Sunday with Kyle Pitts, you better see in the first series when they go on offense, you better see Wanye, Diggs, or Izzy on Kyle Pitts. Those are your
yeah.
three players. If you have Dono or Donovan Wilson on Pitts,
Or Jordan
then
Lewis.
well, yeah, Donovan Wilson or Jordan Lewis, you know that there's something kooky going on, because some of these adjustments, they're just like slam dunk adjustments. Now,
Right.
when you bring the front office in, we really don't know if the front office is encouraging both coaches to play guys they've paid. So, Donovan Wilson got paid. And he didn't get paid a lot, by the way. I
Nah.
mean, he didn't. So, but there might be some influence with the front office saying, hey, we paid this guy, we want him to play. And they have done that. But again, defensively, they just got to draw a line in the sand and say, you know what, we're trying to win a game, and Donovan Wilson is going to play. We're just not going to have him covering Kittle.
Right. I mean, it's just like, like you said, how Jimmy used to do. Just give them a role. They don't have to do everything. It's just like Micah.
No.
It's nothing written in stone that says he has to rush the player every single down.
And Zion plays the exact same defense that we played in the 90s over the years. You had all types of, they had 3 or 4 Donovan Wilsons on the field at different times. So there's a way to do it. Zim just, I don't understand. I thought Zim, again, he gave him a chance to win the game. They gave him the ball back with 3 minutes. To me, other than having Donovan Wilson on Kittle, I thought Zim did a good job. So what he needs to do this Sunday is just build on what he did last Sunday. Just make the one adjustment. You can't have Donovan Wilson on Kyle Pitts. You got to have, I would actually put what Atlanta does, and Atlanta was being criticized for this earlier in the year. They actually had Kyle Pitts lining up a receiver a lot. So my game plan would be, when Kyle Pitts lines up a receiver, Diggs is covering him. And then you could really just play Wanye somewhere else. But, if they go in the traditional set, I guess 11 or 12 personnel, they call it. If they go with a tight end set, then, Wanye or Izzy can cover him. Because I saw Izzy play Sunday. So he needs to just start using the players that he have. And then on offense, it's just time to, it's make or break it for McCarthy. He got to reduce or eliminate Jalen Brooks from the lineup and just insert Flournoy. Your receivers should be uh, CD, uh, Cooks when he comes back, Jalen Tolbert and from Illinois.
That's it.
That's it. And then, so you talked about the players missing. That's really impacting us in a great way because you on defense when you missing Micah, Tank, and Bland, that's like a major a loss. And so I think that they've done okay, but and then offensively, you know, we got to give Tyler Guyton a lot of credit because that was probably I think that was his best game.
Yeah, and then also let me say this since we talking about that, and I know we're doing a positivity thing, but I got to say this too. And to add what you're saying, I just want to put it in perspective for everyone. Everyone, look at all of the teams, look at all of the other top teams in the NFC and the AFC. Now, just tell yourself, you're gonna take away their best 3 players on defense, best 4,
and take away their second best receiver.
and take away the second best receiver, and take away your top 4 players on defense. 2 of them on the defensive line, and then the other 2 are corners. And what do you have? You have a defense that's not going to be good. And then a lot of people like to say, well, they were doing this when they were healthy the first couple games. Well, the first couple games they played Cleveland, so that don't count. And in the second game we played Baltimore, who was probably the best team in the league. So I mean, really don't have.
And against Baltimore, we did make it a game.
Yeah. So let me say this before I lose my train of thought. So Jerry, this is what McCarthy said today. This is what speaks a lot to me about Will McCarthy, who he is and what his role is. So Jerry did his interview yesterday, and they asked Jerry about Dak running the ball and using his legs. So Jerry said that he doesn't want Dak running the ball using his legs. He wants him to be a pocket passer quarterback. And he said that the injury has led him to this point in his career. And he said that that they don't want Dak running the ball, and that they think that then KNC Masterpiece was like, I think it was actually Mike Bassick that asked him that, and shout out to them. Mike Bassick was like, so do you think it's just that you don't want him running the ball, or he can't run the ball? And he was like, no, ain't no doubt that he can, but I think that if he does, he increases his probability of getting injured a lot more if he uses his legs. Well, my thing is like this. We shouldn't be, and then they asked McCarthy about that today, and McCarthy said, I think Jerry answered that question pretty good. And then when he said that, Clarence Hill or somebody was like, so you agree with what Jerry said? And then McCarthy said, I don't even know what he said.
See, let me jump in. Here's the thing. When Jerry and Steven do interviews, okay, so you don't know this. So, back in the 1950s and 40s and 50s, the United States, you're very familiar with Russia, like like what we have today with Putin and all of them.
Yeah.
Well, back then it was like Red China, and in the United States philosophy, for the most part, they just ignored them. That was their approach. So Jerry and Steven are like Red China. When they come on the air, especially Jerry, man, I'm telling you, whatever he says, just take it with a grain of salt. I can tell you, my thought process is Jerry, he's going to cover for Dak a little bit, which that's kind of what he does. So the reality is, I think the truth is, I think Dak just cannot run. He doesn't have that spring in his legs and his hip to be able to escape left and right. And so I think what Dak is going to do, because of what's happening with our season, he's going to start trying to run more. But Dak, he just really is at the point of his career where he just doesn't have that punch. He can't run like he used to. I mean, that's just completely obvious.
And let's
So
be- let's
and
be clear with
yeah,
that. The reason why he was drafted in the first place was 50% because of his ability to run and use his body.
he never was a great runner to me.
Well,
And
I but just remember just looking at his highlight tape, and I just remember that
yeah,
that game that he won for Mississippi State where he ran like 90 yards, and then on
to
top of
me,
that,
Dak has never been a great athlete. Not to
dude,
me.
dude. So how many of Dak rookie season and second year before he got hurt did we see Dak run over a safety, go head
Yeah,
up with a lineman? How,
we
how
saw
many
that.
times did how many times did we see Dak punching players in their face mask after he didn't got how many times did we say Dak is gonna hurt himself for going
Well,
ahead, and then how many times how many posters does he have where he's jumping and diving and flipping into the end zone? He
well,
don't so
that's what he could do, but now he done. He's post his significant ankle injury.
well
He's also had a couple of other injuries, so he's in his ninth year. So he's not that player
well this
anymore.
is
And
my point. This is
yeah,
but this is what I'm saying. He's not that player anymore, and that's clear. Well, here's the thing. To me that was 35-40% of his game. That's number one. Um number two, if you know that you have a quarterback that cannot do that, why do you sign him to this massive contract when you know that in order to do these things, in order to be successful in today's NFL, your quarterback damn near has to be mobile. Why do you think Lamar Jackson got MVP last year? It wasn't because of his arm. So why is Josh Allen who Josh Allen is? It's not because of his arm, because he leads the league in picks every year. So
yeah.
why do we think Patrick Mahomes is so great? It's because he can use his legs outside of the pocket. He's the best we've ever seen outside of the pocket. Why
So
do we so
where I
so
would push back on what you're saying, if you just take those three examples, I would say this. Now, this is just my thought process. I don't think that Dak has never been the kind of athlete that Josh Allen and Lamar are. He's probably closer to Mahomes. Mahomes, he just almost kind of scoots. He don't really just. Mahomes ain't no just great athlete. He just uses his body. Mahomes is almost like he's like a power forward. He really knows how to just kind of leverage himself and kind of get at angles. He don't take a lot of hits either.
well
But Dak that doesn't do that. And so one thing, last thing I want to say, there were some people in the Twitter world that were insinuating after that interview with Jerry that Jerry has given Dak a directive not to run. Understand, Dak is a $60 million quarterback. Dak Prescott is not being limited by Jerry Jones. When the game starts, Dak has no thoughts about what Jerry Jones says or does. If Dak can run, he's gonna run. If he
yeah,
can't run, he's not. So
he can't run. That's just
yeah,
it. And then
that's the problem.
and then you can see when he do run that it look like he can't run. It's
No,
like
so
Jalen Smith. He
yeah, he's
can't
been
run.
he's been in the league 9 years, and
So
he's been. You know where he to me he compares to one of the most underrated runners in the quarterback realm that I've seen.
Daniel Jones.
No, he's like Aaron Rodgers. So
Oh
Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers over the years, he was never a great athlete. He was never just, fast or whatever the case may be. But he was just smart. He knew when to run. If you gave him just a lane to his left or his right or ahead, he could move around good enough. He was really efficient with the way he would do it.
Yeah, but
Very tricky. Dak
this is
needs to do that.
this is what I'm gonna say to that, and this is my pushback on that. Before Dak got injured, the way that he used his legs and the way that he used his overall play, you said that he wasn't as good as athlete as Lamar Jackson and
Josh
as
Allen.
Josh Allen, but it's debatable because people right now to this day would pick Dak over them. Still, I mean Dak last year was runner-up MVP. So if
Yeah.
just imagine if he had the kind of legs that he did at the beginning of his career and the willingness to run like he did at the beginning of his career, and you add that to his game now, he would be miles better than all of those quarterbacks that I named except Patrick Mahomes. because
Mm.
because he can't even run and he neck and neck with them.
What's
It's
happening? Yeah, what's happening with Dak right now, as opposed to last year? Last year, what was good, and what Dak had is the offense was just better. They were doing a lot better things offensively. He didn't have to run a lot last year. He just played better. What's happening with Dak right now in real time is McCarthy has regressed with the offense. He's not as mobile as he was. And the third thing that's really hurting Dak is he's turning the ball over. He's doing a lot of things that he didn't do last year. He didn't throw that many interceptions last year. So he just played better. But right now, you know, he played terrific in the Pittsburgh game. Did he have 2 picks in that game?
I think so, yeah. But see,
And Mahomes has picks, but
yeah, that's
if you're
right.
playing better, if you're playing good, you can overcome that.
Well,
In the Pittsburgh game, he did.
well, also, like I said, and I'm not trying to be Dak's savior because right now I'm ready to move past Dak. I'm ready to start looking toward the future quarterbacks because I think we need a quarterback that can run in order to win a Super Bowl, and I don't
You
think Dak is that.
you're gonna
So,
have Dak for the next 3 years at least.
for sure, you will.
Yeah. So what you need to do for Dak is just get him in a better flowing offense, and then put some more tools around him. He'll
Yeah,
be
you have to
fine.
have a complete offense. He has to have a running game. He has to have a good line, and he has to have more than one receiver to throw it to. So if you take away his
And a
running
tight
game,
end, because Ferguson is being hampered. See, most teams have, and they were talking about this today. Some of the people that I chat with on Twitter, and a shout out to Stargazer. She was talking about what's a good number, what's a good wide receiver too, and some people were chiming in on a wide receiver too. What you need to have, what you look for.
T.
So,
Higgins.
yeah, and so the prototype that everybody was sending over to her, it was basically T. Higgins. It was Smith for the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's somebody that they got speed, they got hands, they got rack, and then when
What's the name from Miami?
Miami has 3.
Yeah.
But what's hurting Dallas is they have Lamb. Their number 2 receiver is Cooks, and Cooks on a good team, he's probably your 3rd or 4th receiver. So just think about.
You should have told Stargazer. We should have told Stargazer that when they had Coop was the number 1 receiver. CD was number 2. If Coop would have stayed, then it would have been CD would have been number 1, and Coop would have been number 2. That'd have been a perfect number 2 receiver.
Yeah, Coop is the prototype, and then your 3rd receiver will be Cooks.
Correct.
And then you cooking, and then Tolbert will be your 4th receiver, and you cooking.
See, the problem with offenses in the league.
Yeah, see, the problem with Dallas is they made a decision that receiver was not important, and so they said, we're gonna just roll what we have. They really believe Cooks is a 2. He's really not. He's a 3. On a good team, he's a 4. They really said that Jalen Tolbert is a 3rd receiver. He's not. On a good team, Jalen Tolbert is your 4th receiver, probably. And then Brooks, they got him playing like he's a 3 or a 4. He's really a 5. On a good team, Jalen Brooks is probably not even active.
Yeah, on a good team, he's a practice squad player, if that.
Yeah, so that's the mistake that Dallas has made, and that's what's affecting Dak as well. Dak is not playing well just because of him. He's not playing well because on 4th down and the game is on the line, you throwing the ball to Jalen Brooks, and then I don't really like the criticism that the other receiver, I'm losing my train of thought.
Tolbert?
No, our punt returner, kick returner.
Turpin?
I don't like the criticism that Turpin is getting, because people forgetting that last year Turpin made a terrific catch, similar catch than he dropped the other night. He made the same catch in the game last year, and then this catch that he had the other night, I think people are saying that it was just an easy catch. I don't think it was, but here's the problem. You should be asking yourself it's 3rd and 10. Why are you throwing the ball 40 yards downfield to Turpin?
Who's double covered, by the way.
So Turpin, if you had a really solid receiving core, Turpin could come in and be your 4th person on a drive. Now he can make plays, he can make catches, but for you to just say, "Oh, I gotta have this play made. It's 3rd and 10 or 4th and 10," and you throwing about a Turpin up the left sideline, that wasn't like a just pitch and catch.
across your
And
body.
yeah, and then I believe that today on the Cowboys network, um, I can't think of his name. I'm losing my train of thought. But he said he thought that if he had caught the ball, he would not have gotten his right foot down. And when I watched the play, that's what it looked like to me. If he had caught it, his right foot and leg was up. Now Everson said if he catches it, he believes that he adjusts on his own and he gets his feet down. That's what Wild said.
Well, I'll put it like this. Why are you even why are you even, like you said, why are you even having that play downfield like that on
You
third?
need 10 yards.
And then on top of that, you have no running game. It's not like a mystery, guys. It's not
Well,
like we're gonna.
but let's push back on that because I thought
It
to
can't.
me the best running back game, best games that we've had running was Pittsburgh and San Fran. The backs to me, the backs played okay the other night.
We are dead last in running.
I know I'm just looking at that game.
Well, I mean,
Zeke was getting yards and Cooks to me looked okay.
we don't have a single run over 20 yards, I don't think, or 30 yards or something like that.
Yeah, I know, but understand too. You looking at our offense. For our offense, the Pittsburgh game and last night, Pittsburgh obviously was much better.
Well,
But
I'm saying that to say this. When you look at the Cowboys offense, you know for a fact that you're not winning by running the ball. That ain't happening. So it's just like any
McCarthy
situation.
don't want to run. Actually,
No, he sure don't. That's why he don't care. He using his West Coast offense, thinking that he don't have to run. And that's why he losing. And so,
yeah.
and so the thing is with that is just think about it like this. What I want everybody to say is think of any situation. Think of any situation that you would need to run the ball or that you would want to run the ball, and just take that out of the equation for Dallas. That's what you're working with. If you got to win this, if you up by, let's just say you up by 3 points, and you gotta win. In order for you to win this game, you gotta run the ball and get 2 first downs. You have to run the ball and get 2 first downs, or even 1 first down. They're gonna lose that game because they cannot move the ball. If they had to run the ball and get 2 first downs by running, they would lose that game. So what that means is Dak has to take over. Dak is the Cowboys offense only hope. There is no situation to where they're successful without Dak. And it's all on him. Last year, it could have been any number of players that could have broke the game out. We watched Tony Pollard do it all year. Tony Pollard, we would be having a stale game. Tony Pollard to break one and take one to the house, game wide open. He did it against LA. He did it against Detroit. He did it against the Panthers. Several games where we were not doing very well, and then Tony Pollard takes it 60 yards to the house. And next thing we up a touchdown that didn't cause Dak didn't even have to work that hard. So now Dak can get in his bag and do what he do. But that's no longer now. We don't have that option. That ain't happening. And that's why we can't score, because it's the only way we're gonna score. It has to be a perfect pass from Dak, because whoever we're throwing it to, they are covered. So that means that going to the end zone 10 times, the only way that we're gonna score is if it's a perfect pass from Dak.
See, I think my thing is with the running game, it's really a little bit of both. So the running game is because of the backs, it's because of the line, and with the line coach Solari, it's also McCarthy. So it's really both. It's just the line. In some cases, they're not playing well. It's the backs. It's Solari, and then McCarthy is not putting them in good running plays. He doesn't have a good running scheme. So that's kind of what's happening now. Again, he can make adjustments. Michael McCarthy right now could just get on the phone and call some other coaches, and they could just probably just tell him, here's what you need to start doing. That's where Mike McCarthy is, because he's getting pretty close to one or two things are going to happen. If he don't turn it around, either he's going to get fired or they're just going to tell him to let Schottenheimer start calling the plays. One of those two things is going to happen. And Brian Schottenheimer, he ain't no Yoda play caller. Will he run the ball more? He will. But so that's kind of what McCarthy is facing, because what McCarthy is doing, a lot of people are complaining too about McCarthy running out of the shotgun. He just won't line up under the center and run. So a lot of our issues are scheme related.
Yeah,
That's part of it.
yeah,
Because like I told you earlier, when you watch the game, BB and Guyton, they play really good. I would say BB and Guyton played better than Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith wasn't bad, but Zach Martin and still, uh, Star was talking today about Zach Martin needs to just take a couple of games off. He really does, because you can just watch the game and just see that he's hurt. So they could just put Bass in there and probably be better. But Steele and Zach Martin, they killing us over there on that right side.
so is it a possibility that they would move Tyler Guyton to right tackle?
No, mm-mm.
I mean,
they're not gonna move Steele, because what I said earlier, they pay Steele. So if an atomic bomb hit the stadium, they're not moving Steele because they paid him. They don't like to mess with guys that they've paid. That's the way they
well,
roll.
if you make him a post June 1 cut, you save like 14 million. I think that they
Yeah.
should cut him next year.
Well, that's an off season thing that they probably gonna look at it, because Guyton is really probably a better right tackle.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think Zach Martin probably needs to sit a couple of games till he get right. The line is gonna be fine with Bass and what's the other guy? I can't think
Well,
of
let's
his name.
go.
No, not Walesko. No, it's Bass and the other.
Ball.
No. It's
Uh,
Bass and it'll come to me in a minute. So they
mm,
kind of go back and forth, but probably the first man up is gonna be Bass. You could get by with Bass. And Atlanta, they have one of the worst pass rush in the league. They last in pass rush. They
mm.
actually behind us.
Oh well, I mean that means that we should be able to win this game.
Yeah, you can win a game. I haven't heard anything about Brandon Cooks.
No, I didn't hear nothing about him either. Brock Hoffman.
Brock Hoffman. You could play Hoffman or Bass at guard and just keep on trucking. But again, they've paid Zach Martin. So Zach Martin in his, Zach Martin brain is like, I gotta be out there for my team. But Zach Martin needs to sit. When you watch the game Sunday night, they had a play. He's running downfield. Guys are in front of him to block. He's just whiffing or running by him, or he can't get to him. So it's just obvious, but that's what they do. So they need to sit Zach Martin. He's probably not going to do it because this is probably his last go around. He's trying to play every snap. But yeah, that's so McCarthy. He can turn some of these things around. He's got to get in his bag and just be a better coach until you can get some of the guys back. And the game Sunday night, you could have won that game, but just a lot of goofy stuff that's happening with the special team. Just goofy, Zimmer stayed with Donovan Wilson too long. Then McCarthy on his side of the ball, he just has this thing where he just zones out. And the play and the offense that he ran, that CD scored the 2 late touchdowns on, everyone that's analyzing games is saying he called different kinds of plays. But then in the last drive, he zoned out. He didn't try anything short. He didn't do any kind of running plays.
To me, it's like he's just running. To me, it's like he literally just be running random plays.
And then Amber Garcia, not to cut you off, she had an excellent observation. We talked about this the other night. She said that it just looks like he's rushing, and when he rushes to get plays snapped, that messes up the offense. He needs to just slow things down. There was a couple of times in that game you had said to yourself, he needs to just
call a timeout right
take
here.
a timeout, and then he also needs to just just sit back and say, we need to kind of slow things down here, get everybody on the same page. On that last drive,
it's third and goal right here, man. We can't just rush a play and then settle for a field goal right here.
Yeah, so he again looking forward this Sunday is another opportunity for Mike McCarthy to just step up, do a better job coaching. This game Sunday can be just like the Pittsburgh game was, just like the 49er game. You have a chance to be in the game. And the thing that we got going in our favor is they got a goofy team on their side. Kirk Cousins, he will come in Sunday and throw for 500 yards, or he'll come in and throw three just mindless interceptions. And that's what you're facing. You got a Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, who you liked in the draft. And
one thing I like about it is you got Zim and you got Zim and Kirk Cousins. They have history. He should know. He should know exactly what he's going to be up against. Zim should know exactly what type of quarterback Kirk Cousins is. He should know his tendencies because he was his head coach for all them years. So he should know his tendencies, even though he's on a new team. He should know this is what he likes. This is what he don't like. This is how he can. This is how he can win. This is how he can't win. It's just like how we all know with Jared Goff. If you can rush the passer, you can win that game. Just like,
And so Zim, he needs to do a complete game. I thought Zim had a good game Sunday. His mistake was just, George Kittle. Yeah. He was the only thing they had. You should have came out in the second half with Wanye or Diggs on Kittle. That changes the game.
Yeah, that changes the game. It changes the game in a positive way. They probably won't even score. Or we would never know, but it definitely changes the game. If you take their only player away from them, they would have did that to us.
Yeah, you would have. Somebody brought this up too. That was a Bill Belichick game where Belichick would have, before the game even started, he would have just said, no matter what, George Kittle is not beating me today.
Yeah,
that's what Belichick would have did.
But see, I was talking about using your legs. See, and to me, the game was won because Brock Purdy was using his legs. That's why I think the game was won.
Yeah, but that's what Dak is going to have to do, and we can go ahead and start wrapping. What Dak is going to have to do at this point, you're going to have to just dig deep and rise above. And what Dak is going to have to do, just do what Aaron Rodgers does. When you got an obvious opening, it's just obvious plain as day, and you can get 3 or 4 yards, you got to take it. And Dak is just deciding not to do that. That's on Dak.
Yeah,
it's not Jerry Jones telling him not to run. That's on Dak. We watch the games
like that.
I'm watching the game with your Uncle Eric. I'm talking to him. He's just saying Dak has to run just over and over. He said Dak could have ran right there. That's a play that Dak could have got some yards on. That's on Dak.
It'd be clear and obvious. Like, dude, if he would have took off right there, he would have got the first down. We would have been on the next play by now. But we're punting.
And by the way, at the end of that game on that last drive, he really should have said to himself, this is what we running. But if I get any possibility to get out of this pocket and get a couple yards, that's what needed to happen. But he dropped back 4 straight times. You're throwing about 20 yards, 30, 40 yards downfield.
How many plays can we look at and say, if that was Lamar, if that was Patrick, if that was Josh Allen, if that was Jalen Hurts, they would have took off right there. They probably would have got 10, 15 yards, 20 yards. They would have took off. If we're leaving that kind of meat on the bone with that,
your better comparison to me is Mahomes.
Well, I'm just saying the point I'm making is any quarterback.
See, Mahomes.
That's the point I'm making. Any quarterback would take off.
Aaron Rodgers.
Any quarterback would take off, but ours will not.
Aaron Rodgers would do it.
Right, but ours won't.
And that's Dak.
Right.
That's
so
you're
gonna lose. So you're gonna we gonna so that's not good. That means that we leaving a lot of
this Sunday I can guarantee you right now. If he doesn't get out the pocket at all and pick up any yards, you probably looking at you losing the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that as the title of this video. Can Dak still run?
He can. He can run some.
Okay.
He can run just as good as Aaron Rodgers.
But he hasn't shown us anything.
Yeah, I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers from back in the day. Even Aaron Rodgers can't run now. Right.
But the thing is, he's not. We get it. He can run, but he's not doing that.
He's not. And he has to decide. He has to. That's how you got to do something to impact the game and take over the game. You got to give them some kind of different look. It puts pressure on the defense. That's what he needs to do. Because
It's
when
just
you
like
missing
that year.
players,
Yeah, it's just like that year where the year the Vic Fangio year, the cover
mhm.
2 year. Once they figured out the year that Dak came back from his injury,
and
once they
you know what's going to happen when Dak starts running. They're gonna probably not even ask Jerry that question, and when they ask Jerry the question, he gonna give a totally different answer.
yeah,
He gonna say, "Oh, he looked great," and that's blah blah blah. So don't
mhm.
put anything into what he says. Nothing,
Yeah, 'cause he gonna have to
absolutely
start
nothing.
running. If we gonna start winning some games, he gonna have to start running.
Yeah, at this
Simple as that.
point, you just trying to get something done that's gonna get your team moving, and they got to make some changes on offense with what they have. Nobody, hey, the cavalry is not coming. I will be. When is the trade deadline? They not gonna make no trades.
No, they're not gonna make no trades. And then it's just like to me, I'm
Now,
just like I'm
I was
having
gonna
a
ask you. I was gonna ask you this. Go back to your thought. There's only one receiver that's left that I would consider trading for,
they're not
and
trading for no receiver.
well, this is so it would be Cortland Sutton. Now
Yeah, that's good.
he wouldn't be my first. The receivers that have gotten traded, Cooper is better. Um, what's his name? Went to the Kansas City Chiefs is better. Hopkins.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton, he's just better than anybody that you have. He's better than
Well,
Brandon Cooks. He's better than Tolbert.
and he's the number one receiver on his team.
And I think his cap number is probably pretty friendly. And Denver, they're not going anywhere. Now let me say this: I wouldn't give them no first, second, or third round pick for him. I would offer a 4, but
Maybe 5 or yeah.
I
Not,
would
not
offer a
now, no.
5. Now,
Yeah, no.
if here's the thing: if he gets traded, he'll get traded for a 5, but not to Dallas. Dallas don't make those kind of deals, smart
No.
deals.
He's a good player. I got him on my fantasy team. He my backup. He one of my backups on my fantasy team. So
So
he doing all
he's
right.
the only receiver that's worth trading for. So that's who I will be trying to get at this point.
They're gonna.
And
I think
so
that they're gonna try to. I think that they'll try to they'll try to Diggs route next year, coming off of
and,
ACL.
and then Cortland Sutton would be somebody that you could really just pencil
Resign.
him in as your start. And
Mhm.
then what Dallas needs to do, it's a longer. We've got to talk about this kind of as the season winds down, which is several weeks. What they need to do, they need to overhaul the receiving crew altogether.
Yeah.
They gotta draft a receiver with their first round pick if it fits. Then they gotta sign another veteran. So you just can't, if you paying Dak $60 million, you got to give him better weapons because
I would
what you got.
definitely be looking at getting my back. I would definitely be looking at getting my next quarterback.
Well, you can work on that, but Dak is your quarterback. And then I heard last night from Jay Tuck. Shout out to Jay Tuck. They've been kind of peeking at the draft. Jay Tuck says they have in this upcoming draft, the running back draft is so loaded. He said you can get a first or second round back in next year's 4. So that's how many great backs are coming out. So the Cowboys can get a receiver and a back with a first and second pick.
I think they will. And then I also, like, I wanted to say this before we got off of that. I'm noticing that a lot of these quarterbacks, really all of them, except Dak, all of the quarterbacks, when a play breaks down, when a play breaks down, they look at their first through 3 options. And I mean it happens super fast. And with Lamar, it happens the fastest. But they look around and and the play breaks down. Now they looking for lanes to run to. They finna run. That it's almost to the point to where it's just like sometimes you can see the other players getting mad, like, bro, I was open and you still decided to run. So it's just, you know what I mean? But with Dak, that doesn't exist. It's like this. It's like if the play break down, I'm throwing it up there to somebody. I'm just throwing it, or I'm throwing it over the middle, and it's to this guy that's covered, and it's gonna ricochet up in the air. How many times do we be on the goal line and we be on the 10-yard line, and Dak will just zing a rocket ball over the middle, and it's just popped up in the air, and it's just like, Dak, you could have just took a knee. You could have
So
just,
they Yeah, they got to get him some better weapons, and he's gonna have some like Brandon Cooks coming back is gonna help. I think that the game Sunday, I really think that if you have a healthy Brandon Cooks, I mean, everybody matters on our team. Brandon Cooks would have been able to help you move some of them drives, and so I think if we can get Brandon Cooks back sooner rather than later, I haven't heard anything about. Well, he did. He actually he put something on his Twitter to kind of insinuate that he's playing Sunday.
Oh yeah.
So he's going to help. And and by the way, they say Schoon Brad Sham today. Shout out to Brad. He said Schoon had 2 plays Sunday.
Oh yeah.
2 plays.
I wonder how
They,
many. I wonder how many did what's the name have?
ooh,
On
Reverend
defense.
Span Ford.
No, on defense.
Oh, Mozzie.
No, our linebacker, number
Who?
18.
Oh, he didn't play.
Oh, I didn't think so.
No, so we got to talk about tomorrow. We need to just talk about what things we can do to help our team and fix the problem. And one of them is
Wanye.
and then you might have to try to do some stuff with Overshawn rushing the passer. That was a big play that he had, and not overdo it. He's not Micah, but just blitz him because his speed from A to Z, man, is like it's like crazy.
I want to know. I really, really, really want to know what Micah's gonna play when he comes back. I really, really, really hope that he's playing linebacker.
Man, we gonna see. I told you the George Clinton quote I told you the other night. He said, "Free your mind and your ass will follow." The grass will tell. Well, we gonna find out on Sunday. The grass is gonna tell if Dono is covering Kyle Pitts. When Micah comes back, the grass is gonna tell what's happening there. If they put him at edge from start to finish, I just think it's a disaster.
Yeah, and then that's also gonna tell us right there. To me, that's gonna tell me if I think that right now we're trending on having a new defensive coordinator next year too.
Oh, well, man, look, none of the coaches, they all on 1-year contracts. That's an automatic.
Yes,
Zim, I know McCarthy's not coming back. All of his offensive coaches, Solari's not coming back. So no, we ain't even. That's not even. The question is going to be, is Jerry going to do an about face and just hit rock bottom and make some sea change and moves? I doubt it, but that's what we're going to see. That's going to be the fun part about the offseason. So tomorrow, let's come back and talk about what we can do to win this game because it's a must-win game.
Oh yeah, no, it's a must-win game. You lose this game, and you need to win. Shout out to boss. We need to start looking at the draft.
So tell the folks about our Facebook page.
Yeah, so we got a Facebook page. It's Generation to Generation Cowboys and Sports Talk. So if you type in Generation to Generation or Gen to Gen Cast on Facebook, our show will pop right up. And so we're gonna be posting all of our shows on there, and we're also gonna be posting the other. It's really gonna be just Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Mavericks sports based. So we're gonna be posting a lot of stuff on there. More Dallas Cowboys stuff, a lot of blogs that we listen to, and a lot of the other videos that we listen to, and kind of where we get some of our information from. And so we're just going to be supporting people that's kind of just like us, and we're also going to be promoting ourselves on there a lot. We're going to be posting all our videos on there, so that's going to be a spot where you can get it. And then we're trying to set it up to where when we go live, we can go live on Facebook, we can go live on YouTube, and all of the other platforms that's out there. So what I'm going to put the link to our Facebook in the description. So you can just click on our Facebook link in the description and give us a follow and give us a like. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel and to our YouTube show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And so we're going to see y'all on the next one. And like I said, the link will be in the video below to our Facebook page. And so you can click on that and give us a follow. And that way you can stay up to date with everything that we have going on. So we'll see y'all on the next one. I think we're going to come back tomorrow and talk about what we got to do to go forward and how we can turn this thing around. We got Atlanta coming up. It's a must-win game. And so as Cowboy Nation, we're going to stay positive and try to figure out how we can win this must-win thing and what we can expect to see from them come Sunday. We have a noon game, or is it like 3:25?
It's a noon game, which I hate.
So we got a noon game. So we're going to know pretty early on Sunday what we looking like. So Y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
All
Holla.
right. Peace.
Peace.